I cannot wait for the Barbie movie, guys. Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, hello, my name is Kudzai, and on this channel we talk all things pop culture, music, fashion, anything in that realm. If you are interested, then please continue watching, stick around, hit the subscribe button and join the gang. With each passing moment, the hype for the Barbie movie increases and increases. As it's set to be released on the 21st of July, who knows, it might already be out by the time this video is up, but everyone is talking about Barbie. At this point, there's no denying that Barbie is the film of the summer and probably the most aesthetically pleasing film of the year. It's no secret that colours can affect the way we see, think or feel about things. My question is, where does your mind go when you see someone wearing the colour pink? Today we'll be discussing pink in its entirety. The history of pink, the media's depiction of pink, Barbiecore aesthetics, public figures that are associated with pink. It is pink overload today, so if you don't like the colour pink, I was gonna say maybe this video isn't for you, but actually this video might be for you. You might be able to form a new opinion or a different understanding and viewpoint of the colour pink. For years now, the colour pink has had negative connotations, whether that is dubbing a woman as a bimbo, the traditional definition of bimbo, not the kind of reclaimed version of bimbo that we have now. But in past years, as we know, when women wear the colour pink, they are dubbed as a bimbo, as shallow, as materialistic, attention seeking. Due to this, pink became a colour that displayed society's misogyny and patriarchy. What comes to mind is the age-old saying that when a girl likes something, society demonizes it. Whether that's fan culture, makeup, society will always demonize whatever a woman is seen as obsessed with or whatever a woman truly enjoys. In reality, wearing pink can be seen as an expression of hyperfemininity, and it's just another aesthetic like everything else. In recent years, we have seen more and more people discuss and kind of delve into the topic of hyperfemininity. We are constantly seeing on TikTok, on Instagram, on social media, the rise of people reclaiming the girly girl trope. People have been reclaiming the girly girl trope that Hollywood so desperately demonized for years in exchange for praising the not like other girls trope. When I think of various figures, pop culture figures that are associated with pink, I think of Paris Hilton, Nicki Minaj, Barbie, Regina George, Sharpay Evans, Elle Woods, the list goes on. Margot Robbie's transformation for the Barbie film has been simply exquisite, and if you're anything like me, you have been hooked and obsessed with looking at the various looks that she's been sporting on this Barbie promo tour. When Margot Robbie's Barbie paparazzi photos were first released, it went completely viral, and on TikTok specifically, it was found that searches for pink clothing increased by 416%. That is a lot. Pink has had an influence over fashion for decades, but due to the hype of the Barbie film and Barbiecore, in the past year we've seen a rise of celebrities wearing pink. Just last year, the designer Valentino debuted their hot pink collection, and guys, the hot pink designs were absolutely to die for, and I'm so jealous of every single person that had the chance to wear them. So let's get into the definition of Barbiecore. A simple Google search led me to this definition. Barbiecore is a bright, vibrant trend defined by a very particular colour, pink. But Barbiecore isn't just about wearing a certain shade. It means channeling a confident attitude and exuding happiness into the world, almost infectiously. I love this definition of Barbiecore because for me that just encapsulates what pink is when I wear it. Even though Barbie has had a plethora of careers and is clearly educated, it's not lost on me that when people refer to a person being a Barbie or plastic, they are really trying to insult their intelligence. Paris Hilton can be used as an example of how her hyper feminine aesthetic and wardrobe that consisted of a lot of pink plus the addition of her babyish voice reinforced the infantilization of women who wear pink. Another example is Baby Spice from the Spice Girls. She wore pink all the time, and that was kind of her signature colour. She was definitely infantilized by the media. Nicki Minaj is the perfect example of how she used her Harajuku Barbie and Black Barbie persona to help bridge the gap between hyperfemininity and rap music. Her pink wig and thick ass really gave the girls whiplash. When Nicki birthed the Harajuku Barbie persona, she completely embraced the colour pink to the point where now she is highly associated with pink. This was incredibly important, as for years black women have been deemed as masculine and not so feminine by society. For Nicki to call herself the Black Barbie or the Harajuku Barbie and kind of take on this persona and exude hyperfemininity whilst killing it in a male dominated genre was revolutionary. And the fact that she even calls her fans the Barbs is very feminine and powerful, and is a testament to how strong one's persona or image or use of a certain colour in their career can have a huge impact. Not only did Nicki's pink aesthetic have a huge impact culturally, but historically, seeing a black woman be super hyper feminine in the rap genre was just incredible. Much like Lil Kim, who paved the way for Nicki Minaj, Nicki's pink aesthetic paved the way for artists like Doja Cat to express the same aesthetic in the rap scene. For example, Doja Cat's 2019 Hot Pink album. To understand the cultural significance of the colour pink, we have to take it back a couple of years to the origins of pink. For years and years, pink has been widely considered a girly colour that society generally associates with women. It was in the 18th century when pink was considered a fashionable colour amongst males and females. In fact, back then, pink was considered more appropriate for little boys. This is because it was seen as a paler shade of red, and that had masculine undertones. Gradually, pink began being associated with young girls and women, and it started to take on more feminine undertones rather than masculine ones. Soon after, gendered clothing became a thing, and it was introduced in the 19th and early 20th centuries. In Western countries, pink has been criticized, debated, demonized, whatever you want to call it. It has been a topic of discussion and controversy. But let's find out how the media has interpreted pink over the years. Hollywood has a long-standing history of demonizing hyperfemininity, thus enforcing awful stereotypes about women who wear the colour pink. Seriously, how stupid is it to measure a woman's intelligence on the colour pink? On a colour? The math ain't mathin'. Due to the relationship that Barbie shares with pink, when someone chooses to sport the colour in an outfit as an adult, it is deemed as childish. When Nicki Minaj first came onto the scene with her pink wigs and pink aesthetic and Barbie pink persona, some people struggle to take her seriously as a rapper. The 2000s British reality TV show titled Snog, Marry, Avoid, yes, we had a TV show that was literally called Snog, Marry, Avoid. This TV show reinforced the idea that women should steer away from a hyper feminine, over the top aesthetic in order to be taken seriously. One episode in particular comes to mind, and it was literally titled The Pink Prime Minister. In this episode, a young woman is obsessed with the colour pink. She's obsessed with fake tanning. She loves bleach blonde hair. She loves makeup. She just loves that aesthetic. A super hyper feminine aesthetic. Her room is hot pink, her clothes are hot pink. She even says if she was prime minister, she would make everything pink.
Why are you wearing fluoro pink? You look like a highlighter pen. What are you trying to highlight? The fact you've got no taste?
Honestly, I'd love to know where she is now. I'd love to know. I really would. As we know, in the 2000s, the hot pink bimbo aesthetic was so in, and so many girls were wearing it. In this episode, Pod, I don't know how to describe Pod, but Pod is basically like this robot voice that kind of makes the participants undergo a make-under, that's what it's called. So they basically strip them of all their aesthetics, their hair, their makeup, they make them take off their fake tan, change their outfits, and they like put them into something that they deem as more suitable. It's quite problematic when I think about it, but it made for great TV. Pod will ask strangers based on the participants' appearance if they would either snog, marry, or avoid this person. And of course they bring on people that have like different aesthetics and appearances that they are entitled to have, and they show their pictures to the public, and the public decides whether they would either snog, marry, avoid. That's because it's TV, reality TV. Majority of the people say avoid, or that they would just snog them. Some of the comments that people said when they saw, I forgot her name, but they saw the lady's aesthetic in her pink outfit and her blonde wig. Some of the things that they said were, she looks like she's too high maintenance, she looks too fake, she looks a bit plastic. All those negative connotations that are associated with her hyper feminine aesthetic. To be more specific, her aesthetic was more like bimbo, 2000s bimbo aesthetic, but still she was obsessed with the color pink. Once she goes under the make under, and Pod is like praising her and saying she looks much better like this, she's looking a lot more natural. She's not happy with it because that's not who she is, that's not what she enjoys wearing. And honestly, I feel like she didn't look bad, but she clearly looked like not happy. She wasn't happy with the new make under. Pod goes on to show the public her new appearance, and of course the public are like, oh, I'd marry her, she seems like a lovely girl, I'd marry her, I'd marry her, I'd marry her, I'd snog her. Like a lot more positive snog marries rather than avoids. Obviously the premise of this show is just for entertainment, but they want people to think if you sport a hyper feminine and pink aesthetic that you're not deemed attractive, or you're deemed as stupid, or you're not taken seriously. Shows like this really enforce the idea that the whole bimbo aesthetic, the hyper feminine aesthetic, is something that women shouldn't strive towards. When the iconic rom-com Legally Blonde hit our screens in 2001, it exposed the harmful stereotypes that were running rampant in the 2000s of blonde women and girls who love to wear the colour pink. The film confronts the idea that pink and femininity does not equate to a lack of intelligence.
What, like it's hard?
In fact, our beloved Elle Woods proves to the audience that she does not need to compromise her love for pink and feminine things in order to become a successful lawyer.
We did it!
She literally clears the courtroom and wins a case based on her knowledge of hair care.
Isn't it the first cardinal rule of perm maintenance that you're forbidden to wet your hair for at least 24 hours after getting a perm, at the risk of deactivating the ammonium thioglycolate?
Tell me that's not iconic. However, when Mean Girls came about, Mean Girls succumbed to society's stereotypes of women who wear pink or girls who wear pink. When Mean Girls came about, we kind of derailed from the message and intention with Legally Blonde, which was that women can still wear pink and still be smart and successful. For a second, let's just ignore the iconicness that is Mean Girls and the global phenomenon that this cult classic film is, and let's just focus on their intentions with their hyperfeminine aesthetic and the use of the colour pink in the costume design. Like many fashion forward movies and TV shows, when they depict high school cliques, we see how fashion and clothing is used to enforce a hierarchy in school systems. For example, we see this in films like obviously Mean Girls, Jawbreaker, and TV shows like Gossip Girl. Even Heathers uses colour and fashion a lot to reinforce the hierarchy and queen bee trope. Using clothing in this way in school systems limits the individuality of side characters or the people that follow the queen bee. As we all know the plot of Mean Girls very well, Katie Heron starts off the movie wearing a lot of monotone colours. You know, she's a girl that grew up being homeschooled in Africa. She's the jungle freak that only knows to wear army clothing, beiges, browns, dark colours, greens. She's not really trying to stand out too much, as she obviously is a new girl, and she just wears a lot of basic pieces really, as opposed to the plastics. However, as the film progresses and her character develops more and more, her wardrobe changes as she gradually becomes more and more obsessed with becoming Regina, or even beating Regina and getting revenge on Regina. She becomes a lot more glamorous and hyper feminine and wears a lot of pink. Upon first watch, the audience is led to believe that pink is a colour that is highly associated with high school bullies and popularity. Fast forward with all the drama that goes on in Mean Girls, when you get to the end of the movie and Regina is nicer, Katie has kind of like asked everyone for forgiveness and everyone's in a better place with the exception of Gretchen. We even see the plastics change the way that they dress. They are no longer wearing pink on Wednesdays or wearing pink religiously to coincide with their new appearance. They are much nicer, they're smarter, they want to learn more, they take school seriously. You see how we consume that as an audience? Like, humans are visual people. When you see colours associated with something negatively, you're gonna put two and two together and just kind of put them into a box and stereotype that colour. And that's what happened when Mean Girls was released in 2004. It was kind of like the catalyst for films and movies and TV shows in the 2000s that demonized the hyperfemininity and the pink aesthetic. Still on the topic of movies and films, I want to discuss how horror movies use pink. Horror movies have used the colour pink in various ways to create a sinister atmosphere for their audience. For example, in the 1972 classic horror film Carrie, when she goes to prom, Carrie wears a pale pink dress which symbolises her innocence. Quick little spoiler alert, if anyone hasn't seen Carrie, you might want to skip over this section. So when high school bullies decide to play a prank on Carrie and she is doused and drenched in pig's blood and publicly humiliated, her pink dress is ruined, the audience is left feeling incredibly sympathetic for her. It's not really nice to see anyone be humiliated in that way, let alone a young teenage girl. It can be argued that if Carrie was to wear another colour, let's say red, to her prom, the audience would feel less inclined to feel as bad for the character purely based on the colour of her dress. This is because the colour red has a lot of connotations. The colour red can signify seductiveness, danger, maturity, sexuality. Like, red is often associated with darker themes rather than pink, especially a pale pink. Baby pink is often associated with children, innocence. Maybe that can be an argument that you can make, or maybe I'm just reading too much into it and the producers or the filmmakers or the costume designers just thought it made more sense to wear pink. Today, more and more people embrace wearing the colour pink. Society has really and truly embraced this colour in ways that we have never seen before. The rise of hyperfeminine aesthetics such as Barbiecore, more people are experimenting with the colour pink and just really having fun with it. Pink is now considered cool and it's no longer gender binary. In fact, it's more androgynous. Sure, society still has biases when it comes to wearing the colour pink. Honestly, I'm just happy because we've come a long way. People are now publicly celebrating the colour and using it to empower themselves. The power of pink is just truly iconic. Has there ever been a colour that has caused so much debates, think pieces, controversies? I truly love this colour, if you can't already tell. I'm gonna leave you guys with this. The same way no one is born evil, no one is born hating pink. The hatred of this colour or the demonization of this colour is due to societal conditioning and the patriarchy. Pretty much like everything else a woman does. This has been a super fun video for me. I have always loved the colour pink and I'm so happy that pink is finally getting its praise. I'm super excited for the Barbie movie. I can't wait to attend wearing my pink outfit. What a time to be alive. If you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like and a comment. Let's start a discussion down below what your history is with pink. I'd love to know what your guys' thoughts are on pink, what your thoughts are on Barbie, on the Barbiecore aesthetic, bimbo aesthetic, hyper feminine aesthetic. Make sure to follow me on my social media, specifically my TikTok, where I cover various music eras if you're interested in that, and follow me on Instagram if you want. Stick around for my next video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Did anyone watch Life Size growing up? I'm sure you did. Hi, I'm Eve, and you're my special friend.